Welcome to Game of the Day, where I randomize a date and play a game that came out on that same day. Today we're starting with June 14th, 1997 for the date, which is where things get a little complicated. There were two entries on that date, but neither were eligible as one was a mod and the other was an episode while we only played base games, so per rule I went to the next closest dates of the 13th and 15th, which had one game each before the 15th also eliminated itself by being another mod, which let Sega Sports NFL 98 win by default. Back before EA bought out all their competition with an exclusive NFL license agreement, companies like Sega threw their hat in the ring with NFL 98, which was absolutely loaded with features. To start, the game offered a practice mode, exhibition mode, and a season mode to allow you to play through the 1998 season. Before hopping into the game though, I went through rosters which offered information like player attributes, stats from the previous season, and their overalls, which some were pretty brutal, putting players as low as in the 20s, which for reference is 40 overalls lower than modern football games. But gameplay wise, each team had its own custom playbook with about 7 formations and 9 plays per formation, as well as the ability to flip plays, call audibles, and change the primary receiver. Something this game did differently than current football games though is you could only focus on a singular receiver at a time, and if you wanted to throw to someone else you had to press a button to rotate through all your options. And on top of that, something you could do that surprised me was the ability to actually control a receiver mid-play to change their route, which was akin to the playmaker ability in Madden. Rushing on the other hand was relatively simple with the ability to do a speed boost, spin, stiff arm, dive, or taunt. Defensively though, there wasn't much to speak on as you could change players and contest passes, which was good enough for me. Diving into franchise mode though, the core features were the standings to see where each team ranked, the weekly schedule where you could see the matchups for the week and choose to play individual games, team assignments to let you decide which teams to control for the entire season, and smaller features like roster management, injured reserve, as well as team and player stats. The really cool features I'd like to talk about though were the ability to relocate a team to a new city and the ability to create a player that you could assign either to free agency or any team that you'd like. Going on a week by week basis though, the games you don't play are simulated as it tells you each game's MVP and list off injuries that happen within the games. At the end of the season though, you were able to see the Super Bowl winning team photo and even got to see the regular season MVP, which was a cool addition. So while the game wasn't perfect as it had some small inconveniences such as not being able to pause while on the field, you couldn't see play art for audibles so you just had to remember them, and the same had to be mentally tracked for down and distance as there weren't any on-field indicators, but to be fair, that's how football was presented in real life at the time as well. For every inconvenience though, made up for with little details like dynamic time of day in the pause menu as the game progressed, pretty deep stat tracking, solid AI, custom difficulty sliders, the ability to watch CPU games, and a ton of helpful tips for people who were less familiar with the sport. While the barrier of entry was pretty low as it was easy to pick up but hard to master, and it fit in a ton of content for a game from the 90s while also allowing you to play with up to 3 friends, I'd have to give this a seasoned vet out of 10. Make sure to follow and leave a comment about what you think of this game, and I'll see you